My name is Marina Anderson. I'm doing my persuasive speech for Dr. White's Fundamentals of Speech class. This is my note card, and these are my audience members. Imagine your child being born with a heart defect and requiring daily transfusions of blood in order to have a chance of survival, or your best friend having just been diagnosed with leukemia, a disease which requires regular transfusions of platelets. These aren't very nice images, but these things do happen, and unfortunately, some of you may have even experienced them already. Naturally, in the event of a disaster like this, you'd hope and expect the hospital to have enough resources to facilitate the return to health, and naturally, you'd want to do everything in your power to help. There is one way that you can help, and that's by donating blood. I found my information on redcross.org and mayoclinic.org. I will be covering 2 points. Not only is giving blood a quick and easy way of saving someone's life, but it's also setting a good example for others to consider giving blood too. Transfusions of red blood cells, platelets, and plasma are critical to a patient's return to good health and are vital in helping to save someone's life in an emergency situation. Some individuals who require blood are surgical patients, burn victims, accident victims, anemics, and people suffering from leukemia, kidney disease, and liver disease. It is estimated that in the United States, every 3 seconds a patient needs blood. Sometimes the blood can be pre-donated by the patients themselves, but most of the time the blood needs to come from healthy volunteer donors. However, according to the Red Cross, only 5% of the eligible U.S. population donates blood in any given year. Healthy donors are the only source of blood since blood can't be made or harvested. The blood supply in the U.S. is consistently low, and the demand for blood increases each year, which is much faster than the rate at which people are actually giving blood. As a result, the supply of red blood cells barely serves the growing demand. To put this need into context, the Mayo Clinic says that currently more than 4,000 gallons of red blood cells are used in the U.S. every day, and that amount is increasing. It's estimated that 50% of us will need a transfusion at some point in our life, and by donating blood to ensure that there is enough in supply, the life we save may be our own. Just by giving one blood donation, you could save up to 3 lives. I'm hoping that by now most of you are considering giving blood, and most of you are probably considering or wondering what it entails. Giving blood is actually pretty easy, and it's immensely helpful to the people who actually do receive your blood donation. You can give blood if you're 17 years of age, weigh at least 110 pounds, and in good health. The donation process from the time you walk in the door until the time you leave is only about an hour, and the donation itself only takes about 10 minutes. During the donation, less than 1 pint of blood is actually taken, and the fluid content that is taken is replaced naturally by your body within 24 hours, and the red blood cells that are lost are replaced within 10 days. So in conclusion, you can see that giving blood is safe, simple, and quick, and most importantly, you'll be giving the gift of life to someone else. I'm sure that in the time of need, we could all expect blood to be there for us, but barely a fraction of us who are able to give actually do. However, sooner or later, virtually all of us will face a time of great vulnerability when we all need blood. It doesn't quite add up, does it? Imagine how simple things would be if everyone gave blood. Done on a regular basis. It really shouldn't make that much of a difference. It's only about an hour every 2 months, and it's very easy. But for the nearly 5 million people who do receive blood transfusions every year, it could be the difference between life and death. So, that's it. Any questions?
How do they prevent the transmission of disease, or how do they ensure that it's not disease will not be transmitted?
Part of the donation process, the reason it takes about an hour from the time you walk in the door until the time you leave, the majority of the time you're filling out a questionnaire. Every time you go, you fill out the same questionnaire to rule out immediately the people who could possibly have any type of diseases, AIDS, anything. They ask many questions to rule them out immediately. But after the donation process, before they actually give a transfusion of your blood to somebody else. They do test the blood, and if they do find that you do have a disease, they will notify you.
How often can you donate blood?
You can donate blood every 2 months, provided there are certain contents that they check when you go in, iron and stuff like that, and as long as your iron content and everything else is good enough, you can get blood every 2 months. That's it.